Hey everyone, it's Norm here from IMCARS. Welcome to my new office for the time being. And today is the long-awaited annual video of my top 10 favorite cars I sold in 2022. So, rewinding 1 year back to 2021, I'm not gonna go over the whole list, but I will link it in the video description down below if you guys are interested in watching the whole video. But car number one last year, or sorry, 2 years ago, 2021, was our matte black Aventador. So this year's list, totally different. So let's get into it. I've got it here on my phone, and this time there's actually a tie for spot number 10, which I think there was a tie last year as well, or an honorable mention. So this year we've got a tie between the 2012 Corvette Z06 Centennial Edition and the VIP converted Mercedes Metris. Now, the reason I put those two on the list was the Corvette, being a Centennial Edition, was a pretty special car. One of, I think, 195 built, so pretty rare. You don't see a lot of 6th generation Corvettes coming up for sale, tons of 7th gens, tons of 8th gens, so I feel like the 6th generation, in particular the Z06, is becoming a little bit more of a collectible, more of a special car. As for the Metris, it's just unlike anything else we've had before. That was, as you guys can see here, like fully VIP converted. We don't really buy vans, but we buy unique stuff, and that was definitely unique. So those are the two tied for spot number 10. Number 9 on the list, the Dodge Challenger Hellcat wide body. This was a really cool spec, F8 green with the satin hood, 6-speed manual. Really nice car. Don't think we'd had a Hellcat or a Challenger at all before. So this is my first time actually getting behind the wheel of one, having one in the showroom, and that car, especially being the wide body, had a very, I'd say like aggressive stance and an appeal in the showroom. Like people went to that car over a lot of stuff that was a lot more expensive and whatnot. And of course, there's a cool story on who we sold the car to. So I'll also link that video up here right now if you guys are interested in watching to see who we sold that Hellcat to. Car number 8, the Bentley GT Concourse Edition. This was a car that we actually bought for the Okanagan Dream Rally back in July or August, and picked it up in Vancouver, drove it out to Kelowna, had it all deckled, did the whole rally in it, and then drove it home and sold that right away. That was a beautiful car to have a newer special edition Bentley with really low mileage like that one did, and that car was just absolutely perfect. Like, I'm not into the luxury brand cars like I am the exotic stuff, but after getting behind the wheel of it and actually, you know, being able to drive it from Vancouver back to Calgary, getting some seat time, that was a nice car. You really start to appreciate the quality and the workmanship of a car like this. Number 7 now, 2015 Ferrari California T. Now I believe on the last 2 years list there was also Ferrari Californias, but this one was the first T model, which was the newer turbocharged engine. Drove a lot better than the previous gen, a lot more reliable of a car, and the interior had been revised. Just like simple things like fixing the nav screen, nicer seats, nicer steering wheel. Very nice car. And that for us, again, the reason it's on the list, I think it was the only Ferrari that we'd sold this year in 2022. And that's a really special car, you know. As soon as we start getting up in this like $200,000 price range, they start to become pretty special, really cool cars, even if it's, let's say, a base model Ferrari like that was. So I think well deserving of the spot at number 7. Moving on to number 6, and we actually ended up selling 2 of these this year, so you'll see pictures of them both right now. But the one that I was actually putting on the list, the 2006 Lotus Elise. These are becoming very special cars. Lotus are very rare. Sold new in Canada from 05 to I think 2011, this car was. And the number sold was so minimal. It was around about 100 cars or 150. So these are becoming extremely collectible. Values are skyrocketing. You know, a few years ago, these were like 30 grand, 35 grand, nobody wanted them. Now, on the cheaper end, they're like 65, and everybody goes crazy for them. And obviously, lower mileage, special colors, you're gonna pay 100 grand for. There's a low mileage one for sale right now for 90 grand in Vancouver. I love the Lotus Elise. Always have, always will, and really special car. I'll also link the delivery video when we bought that in the top corner right here, right now. So that, very well deserving of spot number 6 on the list. Spot number 5, the Audi R8 Twin Turbo by Underground Racing, 1,300 wheel horsepower. That right there should say it all. Again, once you start talking about Underground Racing, they're the king of doing these high horsepower kits on these cars. Really special. That car we bought to actually be a winter driver. We were going to do some winter videos with it. We had winter tires mounted on it. And like most of our stuff, ended up selling right away before we could actually do anything. But I still think well deserving of spot number 5. Spot number 4. A very recent acquisition and sale for us, the 2014 Dodge Viper GTS. Now, we've actually had a number of Vipers over the years, but this was our third, 5th generation car. And what's interesting and appealing about it now is when we had the other two, these were like $75,000 cars. This one being a higher mileage example, let's call it, this car was like 165 grand. So, you know, back a few years ago, the car at 85 grand wasn't even cool, kind of like the Lotus. And now at double the price, everybody wants them, everybody goes crazy for them. This particular one was, I think, really special because it had a full aftermarket ACR carbon kit on it. So the ACR carbon canards, carbon front lip, carbon rear spoiler, and the guy had done an aftermarket exhaust, so it was real poppy and crackly, and pretty much anybody that you passed in this thing thought it was a real ACR. Really special car, was absolutely immaculate, and I think well deserving of spot number 4 on the list. So getting into the favorites here. So spot number 3, the 2017 Lamborghini Huracan LP 580-2. This was, of course, the white on red with all the Vorsteiner carbon. That was, I believe, our first Huracan sold out of here, and what an absolutely incredible example. You don't see too many with modifications, especially at the quality of this car. Just crazy amount of money in parts. The only thing that kind of sucked about it was, I think it sold in January. It was early January 2022. And if we'd kept that car throughout the year, I think it would have gone up $50,000 or $60,000 in value. So it would have been nice to actually have that benefit, but that's okay. Still a very special car and very well deserving of spot number 3 on the list. Spot number 2 on the list, and this is kind of interesting because we actually purchased this car from the same person we purchased the Lamborghini Huracan from. This is the 2021 Audi RS6 Avant that was heavily modified. Had the kind of forest green wrap on it. This thing was tuned, downpipes, exhaust, suspension, wheels. This thing was a monster. Now, we've sold a number of RS6s here, I think probably around 10 of them, and they're a great car. Anybody who owns one absolutely raves about them, but there's nothing that compared to this one. This thing was so incredibly fast, so incredibly good looking, and I think the RS6 appeal to me is, I think it's just as cool and just as fast as something like a Huracan, but you actually have the practicality of like being able to drive it in winter, you know, carrying passengers, carrying cargo, and it's a lot less money. So I think the Audi RS6, especially this one, very well deserving of spot number 2. And just as a added bonus or added piece of information, the Hellcat wide body up at the near the beginning of the video, was actually traded in on this car. So that's how we got the Hellcat. The owner purchased this Audi RS6. And it all comes down to this, spot number 1, the long-awaited favorite car of 2022. If you guys know me, you guys know what I drove for the longest this year, what I did the most track days in, what I put the most K on, and what I absolutely didn't want to sell. This should be obvious, the Mauvine Blue, aka Purple, 2016 McLaren 570S. That was obviously very deserving of spot number 1. I did, I think 2 or 3 Kelowna trips in it. I did a track day. I drove that car for, I think 4 or 5 months, put almost 10,000 K on that car, and did a ton of videos with it in the snow, in the rain, track days in the absolute crazy Okanagan heat. And what an incredible car. I think the color added to how cool it was, because you don't see many purple McLarens. I don't recall ever seeing one. And it was a factory paint car, so not a wrap or anything like that. And it attracted a lot of attention anywhere you went. And the McLarens, I mean, I think they're, I can't say cooler than Lambo or Ferrari, but definitely as cool as any Lambo or any Ferrari in that price range. So, well deserving of spot number 1, the Mauvine Blue McLaren 570S. So that is my top 10 favorite cars I sold in 2022. It's a great year. Definitely looking forward to 2023 and making this video again at the end of next year. So I want you to comment down below. Tell me what your favorite car was on the list that we sold, or maybe you have something else that we sold that you know about that's not on this list. There was lots of other cars that didn't even make the cut, but could have. So I had to narrow it down to 10 with an honorable mention. So comment down below, tell me what your favorite car was, and please, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We really want to grow this channel in 2023. We've got lots of exciting content coming, and yeah, that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.